Both the Houston Texans and Green Bay Packers are coming off businessmen-like victories this past Sunday in Week 6. The Texans get to fly to Green Bay to take on Jordan Love and the Packers. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Brian, and we're going to break down this Week 7 matchup between the Texans and Packers. But before we do that, we are trying to get to 100 new subscribers for these Week 7 prediction videos we have going out. We've been able to accomplish that goal over the past several weeks thanks to all of our new members to the channel. And so this is your first time here. If you haven't already, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the Tracy Take, and leave a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win and why. So, Ryan, Texans coming off a dominant performance over your New England Patriots here. And the same thing can be said as well about the Green Bay Packers over the Arizona Cardinals. Both teams just looked very professional offensively. They were able to pretty consistently move the ball down the field against weak defenses. And just in general, though, they showed the NFL that, okay, we're the superior team here in this matchup. And so kind of this point through the season here, even Jordan Love had to miss a couple games, but it does not seem like the Packers has missed a beat. And the Texans as well, they don't have Nico Collins, but once again, I don't think that offense missed a beat as well. Which offense do you think is actually more effective at this point in the season?
I will probably have to go with the Packers. Just if Nico Collins was in, my answer would probably be different. But you look, I think Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, Tucker Kraft, Josh Jacobs, like the list just kind of goes on for playmakers that the Packers have. And Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, that's a good receiving duo. Dalton Schultz is a good tight end. And I like Joe Mixon. I think he's a good running back, but Stephon Diggs is probably the best overall receiver there. But like, I just think the group of playmakers is better for the Packers. I also think Laramie Tunsil left the game today with an injury and did not return. And so this offensive line for the Packers is healthier as well than this Texans offensive line. So just some things to kind of keep an eye on going into this matchup. The Texans, like both these teams, have had really good starts. The Packers, in Jordan Love's first game back, had a tough outing against the Vikings, but since then have looked pretty good on offense. The Texans have looked pretty good on offense throughout most of the year, except for the game that they played the Vikings. And I think part of that was just the fact that they kind of got off on the wrong foot and then never figured things out. And I think other teams have learned from that, because since that game, they haven't been as effective. But all in all, it's been a really good season so far for the Houston Texans. They're 5-1. I believe they're I guess the Chiefs are atop the AFC at 5-0. They haven't lost yet, but they're right in contention with all the top teams in the AFC as well.
Yeah, no, it's wild how it's great how blessed we're going to be with football over these next decades with all these great teams, especially in the AFC as well. But Packers, though, too, they're in an absolute dogfight in the NFC North. I never would have thought that the NFC North would be this competitive 6 games through the season here, with the Vikings leading the way at 5-0, and you got the Lions 5-1. Bears are kind of turned into the team that we thought they could be after the draft. And so the Packers, it's a major game here. I would probably agree with you that the Packers might have maybe a little bit more dynamic offense. But it's purely just I think they found the right pieces for the system that they're in. Matt LaFleur has a phenomenal system. But yeah, we're looking at playmakers though. Gonna be Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, and then when Nico Collins is healthy, who's not going to be playing for this game, I think you go put those guys in this Green Bay offense, and the offense for Green Bay is even that much better as well. Just because I think they're maybe a little bit more talented, but Packers have a phenomenal system. The Texans have a lot of great playmakers, even the two on the defensive side of the ball. And that's the thing, too. Offensively, just looking at it right now, pretty similar overall. Packers 4th overall in total yards. Texans are 6th. Packers are 10th in passing, 6th for the Texans, and the 10th for passing as well. There's a couple of Malik Willis games in there. Packers are 2nd overall in rushing yards allowed, and then 13th. In rushing yards on offense, 13th for the Texans. But to be fair, though, as I said, for Malik Willis, Joe Mixon did miss several games for the Texans, so I think that rushing number is a little bit skewed. The key difference here, though, for me is going to be the Green Bay Packers defense does seem to be giving up a lot more yards, especially too when it comes to the passing game as well. And that, to me, I think is going to be the big X factor. As we talked about, obviously, Texans might have a little bit more of the star power, but can they exploit maybe this Packers defense that gives up a lot of passing yards? And can the Packers somehow find a way to slow them down as well? I think the Packers are built for a shootout. So if they're not able to, I think that's going to be absolutely fine. Another name that you'd mentioned as well that I saw, Aziz Al-Shaair, was also ruled out in the game today with the knee, and I bring that up because he's a solid linebacker, if not maybe one of the key pieces to that Texas defense as well. So if he's not able to go in this game against the Packers, it's just who's going to be the guy that's going to be helping out taking that role to try and slow down Jordan Love and this Packers team.
Yeah, the other thing too that this Texans defense does that I believe they're still the top team in the league is sacks and pressure rate. Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, I believe. I forget him and Dallas Turner mixed up, the two edge rushers from Alabama, but him and Will Anderson getting after the quarterback at just an extremely high rate off the edge. They get some pressure up the middle, but a lot of times those guys are there just to keep contained and slowly collapse the pocket from the top. And these two edge rushers are just demolishing tackles right now. So that'll be another battle. Can they keep Jordan Love clean in this matchup? And so just kind of want to see how that plays out. But all in all, I think this is built to be a high scoring matchup. Both of these teams are very solid, and they both have multiple playmakers that can make plays on any given play. So this video hasn't been going on too long, but let's kind of jump into predictions because I feel like that's going to spur more conversation here. Who are you going with in this matchup?
So I'm going to go with Green Bay here. I feel like with Jordan Love kind of in this offense, I feel like this team, it's just the system as a whole, I think is just phenomenal. And it's going to be very interesting as well then to watch the Texans go up against this Packers defense, because I feel like if Nico Collins was going, you can make an absolutely similar argument as well, just because of the three weapons that they have, then the running game as well, and the tight end, and that's what Green Bay has as well. They have a great system as well for their receivers to thrive in. Christian Watson as well with Jaden Reed, and then they have Romeo Doubs as well. So maybe not the star power or maybe the overall talent, but as great as the other three. But within the system, they work extremely well. And Matt LaFleur's just got that offense clicking. Yeah, Josh Jacobs now to this team and their overall run dominance, being able to establish the run. And then you got a good guy to rely on in Tucker Kraft as well still. So I think this offense is clicking. They're going to win this game in a high-scoring game. I'm going to go with the Packers here. And the one thing I've still seen so far, and they didn't. Unfortunately, your Patriots didn't get to experience what I'm about to say because they put up 41 points. But it does seem like with the Texans, sometimes there is so far this season, there's just maybe a stalling out period for a little bit of time, which might maybe kind of slows down the offense from scoring for a little bit. It is still early on in the season. We're just a third of the way through the season. Maybe they're starting to figure out those bugs, like some of those little kinks and bugs still. But I haven't really seen that too much from this Packers team, especially too when Jordan Love has been the quarterback. And so I'm trying to think of a time. Because obviously I know Jordan Love missed some time, but even he started off slow against Minnesota. But in that second half, things really picked up against the Rams. It was a good performance against the Rams, a dominant performance today against the Cardinals. Now, that being said, though, too, the Rams and Cardinals don't have as nearly a good a defense as the Texans, so maybe this is off a little bit. But I think at home, I'm just going to give that slight edge to Jordan Love and the Packers.
Yeah, so I'm also going to go with the Packers, and I agree with you that like the Texans didn't have that against the Patriots. I do feel like this offense definitely was slowed way down in the second half. There were a couple times like the Patriots got it where like they had the ball and could have made it like a one possession game.
Mm-hmm.
And they scored in the second half. They scored 17 points off of turnovers. It was fumble, touchdown, fumble, field goal, and then interception, touchdown. And each time they scored off of it, like this offense was immediately shut down afterwards. So it was two plays. Well, okay, so say that. It was 2 plays, touchdown, and then the field goals, as soon as they got into Patriots territory, they were kind of stopped. And so, like, I think they figured something out there in the second half. And again, I know it's a little bit skeptical because they did put up 41 points, but there were signs of slowing on this Texans offense that I think Green Bay could kind of build off of.
Yeah.
And I look at this Green Bay offense and uh, especially doing more research into why Green Bay has been so successful for so long, they always just seem to have like a good group of receivers that you don't have a clear number one, but you're going to have one guy be the number one week, another guy be the number one another. And to me, that's just so hard to defend, especially when I believe the Texans are a little bit banged up in that secondary and in that linebacker room. It's just going to be really hard for them, I think, to defend this Packers offense, especially if they're able to do things to slow down
Yeah.
Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter on the edge. So I like the Green Bay Packers in this one. So we'll see how it plays out, but I think this is going to be another
Yeah.
really good matchup this week. So
Yeah. We'll see if we're right.
yep. So let's go ahead. We'll wrap this one up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. If you have not already, it is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Houston Texans? Will it be the Green Bay Packers? And other than that, we'll see you guys next time.